Hey, welcome back to Class Culture. Chill to relax. Hashtag chill to relax. Welcome back to class. My name is Deirdre, the emissary, Queen Sheba. Let's go down the list. Gigi Darling, Arts and Craft Therapy, Queen Charming. Okay, all in one damn day. Thank you for tuning in today. How was your Friday, March the 26th? This is a nasty late night discussion regarding the BERNICEs. I love this topic. I probably won't, revisit it for a minute or two. Let's just see. What did I name it? Let's see, just so we can get it all out. The Royal BERNICEs, aka my mother, aka African Queens in Africa. Okay, we're going to talk a little bit about the subject. So welcome back to class. How was your day? I hope it was great. I hope your weekend is starting off good. Mine is. I had a great day, and I hope you have a great night as well. I'll see you tomorrow in the morning. I had a lot going on, but it was in a good way. It really feels good to be, on top of your game, doing all the good things you need to do, staying in control, staying on top of things, just like the Royal BERNICEs. Yes, this is a little insight. I even called my mother Bernice. I didn't call her Mama. When I said Mama, it would come out every once in a while, but she was my queen. So I referred to her as Bernice, and she loved it. It was almost like having a girlfriend, even though I was her daughter. I was an obedient daughter, a loving daughter, but she thought I was cool, and I thought she was great. So it was a beautiful friendship as well. So, and we love this subject, so I hope you do as well. Now I have my notes. I might add to it. It's a lot. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 things on it, but it looks like I added some more. I got confused, and I say, you know what? I'm just gonna click as I go, because I might add other things, because it's a great topic. I'm glad I was able to share it with you guys. Now we all know. You'll be able to always come back to these videos, this playlist, and say, okay, I know exactly what we're talking about. I know exactly who we're talking about. I feel good. I feel like I know everything about who I am, my DNA, my being, my culture, my dominion. I'm there with Gigi, aka Queen Sheba. You have to be there when you hang with me. I'll remind you. Oh, Royal Blue. Now, Royal Blue is, well, I guess it's still a school. I don't know. But anyway, next year we're going to be traveling to where I grew up to attend our class reunion. 40 years. I cannot believe that. And my class colors were royal blue and what? What do you think? I'll remove it. Did you guess it? One more time. I'll remove it. Gold, of course. Royal blue and gold. But anyway, yeah, you'll be traveling back in time with me. And that'll probably be the last time. The last time I travel back to where I grew up and celebrate with people I'm still in contact with, and just leave it at that, because people need to come travel to see me. I said it. I'm done with it. I am. I have traveled all over the world, and from that point on, I'll do some traveling this year. I'm going to go to new places only. And or if I revisit a state, new cities only. If you want to see me, get there. That's it. That's all. That was a short PSA. But let's get into the topic. This is how I'm going to share pictures from now on. I figured it out hearts ago because I don't want to keep doing the switching back and forth. And I know you can hear me. For instance, when I put this picture up here, see, I can see my bubble back there. I know you can hear me. Shout out to Egyptian culture, right? Shout out to our Nubian queens. I know you can still hear me back there. Culture. That is a sculpture, a bronze of Queen Sheba, Makeda. Okay, but today we're going to talk about the BERNICEs. And this image is absolutely stunning. I think it's my favorite Egyptian image of all time. Why? We have the leopard skin, we have the musician, we have the singer, we have the dancer, we have the performers, we have the headpiece, we have the jewelry, we have the skin that we're in, we have the clothes. Hence, the only color my mother enjoyed wearing was white. She said, always wear white to an important occasion. And she could pull it off. I can't pull white off. I get everything on it. It's not me. And when I wear it, it will either be an ivory, okay, or an EXKRA or an off, because that's how I roll. But I can't put on stark white. It is not me. I suspect it wasn't them either, but that's how she sort of gave homage. And shout out to the beautiful African queens out there that do like to wear white. Like I said, when I do wear it, it might come across as white, but it's probably an off-white or an ivory. Because it doesn't fail. Every time I put on stark white, something gets on it, and then I'm not with it. She didn't care. She didn't care if it got a little stain here and there as she wore it throughout the day, but I don't know. And even this image is absolutely stunning. It represents worship and an altar. Okay, so we'll talk about these things. From now on, this is how I'm going to share my pictures. So, no more of them on the desktop and no more with the verbiage at the top and all that good stuff. And that's okay. It's time to make that change. And it feels good. So thank you. Probably the end of June, I'll continue to put words and links and webbies down below in the downtown. But then I'm going to sort of wean you. Shout out to the future. Just hit the playlist and watch all those videos. And then you'll know how to Google and research and look things up too. Now, I'm not going to stop showing you how to research or sharing links and sources and resources, but we're going to change it up a bit because it's nice when you're in the room with people of your caliber. We don't mind being inclusive, but it comes to a point where you move on. It's sort of like someone teaching themselves anything, cooking, sewing. You retire from Sesame Street and you move on up. You know what I mean? And you leave these videos up so people can follow along and say, I'll catch up with you, but I'm still watching you. Right? There's a strategy to life, and you have to get better at it because Nature gets better at it, so you should too. Nature pushes you along. You might as well go along with it. If you're older and wiser, you should behave that way. Even though the little kid in us still likes to have fun, still likes to be mischievous, still likes to play with toys, still likes to discover something new. And that is definitely alive and well in Gigi Darlingz. So thank you very much, Hearts of Gold. We're going to keep doing what we're doing, keeping it 100. I need people around me that can listen to me, because why? You want me to listen to you. I will. And we'll be just fine. Okay? So let me start with the first share. Now, I'm going to be making sure this is on my list, because if I don't, it won't be accurate. And I really don't like going back listening to the videos where I am me. I don't need to listen to me again. However, if I do need to listen, it's only because I want to make sure it's right for future audiences. I don't do selfish, so I ask that my professors, Hearts of Gold, anybody who has been following me day ones, we don't do selfish over here, because my goal is to invite others and to be inclusive. And I will back you on your channel, so back me on mine. That's all I ask. So what's the first thing I want to bring up? Egyptian queens. So let me make sure that's on my, yes, it's on my Google list. Awesome. Egyptian queens. So when you put it in there, the Google search, it's there, and it's under the all. Now, images and news. Remember, we're going to start hitting news right here. Like if I hit news, that comes up. Something 5 hours ago, right? So let's hit all and go back. This will give you a list of sort of like the top whatever. And then they talk about Old Kingdom, Middle Kingdom, New Kingdom. Okay, and then you scroll down, and we're going to talk about great female rulers of ancient Egypt world history. I'm almost sure. Let me see. I'm just being nosy right now. Yeah, we're going to talk about that. I already have it bookmarked. When you hit it, it turns purple. If you use the same device, you'll always see it there. Okay. Who is the most famous? Well, Cleopatra, of course. But she's not my favorite. You know who my favorite is. Makeda, of course. And that's okay, because she's more of the Greek persuasion. What are Egyptian queens called? Now here they say queen, but we know better. This is why it's important to research and continue, cross-examine, continue, cross-examine, continue. Because let's just say if you did a speech or a paper or teaching someone in your family, don't you want them to have the best information? I know I do. Here they fall short, but we'll get there. So that's what you find when you Google that. So let's go to the images. Of course, Cleopatra. It's overdone in my opinion, because there's so much more. But look here, you have Black, Nefertiti, beautiful, ancient, fantasy, real, cartoon, right? More, royal, Nubian, okay? Beautiful images, okay? That's pretty. And I'm not mad at Elizabeth Taylor. It is what it is. It was a great performance. But we all know she ain't African, Black, or Greek. Okay, I mean, we just know better. So this is a great image to stop on. Beautiful Egyptian queens. Let me make sure you're looking at the same thing I'm looking at. Yes. Okay. And then related searches: beautiful Egyptian queens, Cleopatra, black Egyptian queens. Okay, I have papyrus. It, you know, everything's in storage, which will, yay, soon change. I'll be able to share all that great stuff with you guys. But yeah, it's good to know that you know where I'm coming from. So let's go all the way up. Let's go to news. So what's happening in the news? This website, so now you guys see why I have to take my time, because now I'm pulling up the top. No, I don't want to donate. This is what I hate. Don't you hate that? Okay. So it looks like, what's the top in the news? Now, some things I'm going to share, some things I'm not, you guys, because that's real estate down below. So what's top in the news? Queens of the New Kingdom study. So it looks like someone's selling tickets to discuss. Oh, they're having a lecture. Fabulous. So today, when you do your research, that's what you'll find. You know what I mean? I don't want to put that in on my video because that's good. It'll be outdated after the event is over. And let's go here. International Women's Day 2 weeks ago. They asked, or they wrote an article, and they asked you to familiarize yourself with women who ruled Egypt. That's cool, right? Okay. Oh, some names. Beautiful. Beautiful. Okay. So I'm just going to stop right there. So yeah, from now on, we're going to get into the news aspect of issues, and then we'll, whether it's current or not, it doesn't matter to me. I like to read because history is important to growth and knowledge, right? So what's the next thing I want to share? Okay, so right now we're just doing some demonstrating. So what is the next thing I want to put on there? Egyptian queens called Bernice. Okay, let me see. I have to get the right one, you guys. Here we go. Now let me get this banner. Well, I guess it's not taking up any real estate, right? Okay, here we go. When you put in Egyptian queens called Bernice, they give you dates. They give you different spellings. You know, they give you different husbands, right? Cultures. So it goes on and on and on when you do your research. There are lots of coins with bernices on them as well. Okay, so get your research on. That way you will have a better idea of who you're talking about during what period in time and all that good stuff. Okay, lots of names. And now, as you can see, even though her name was Cleopatra, she was a Bernice, just like Ramses was a pharaoh. And that's how you should refer to them from now on. Now you might go into dates and times and, geography and all that other stuff, but just kind of know what you're talking about just by doing your research. Okay, so I'm going to pull it back up. Now we'll go to images. There she is. That's what you're looking at now. Okay. I think it's beautiful. She reminds me of my mom. And I've shared a picture of her before. I have a surprise coming in May regarding that. You can hit all types of links that talk about the Bernices. But she is on almost every coin in antiquity. That's all you'll see is a Bernice here and a Bernice there. And it's fabulous. Okay. I think it's beautiful. We enjoyed it. We loved talking about it, and me and my mom were just in sync when it came to this issue. I think it's fabulous. Hmm. Okay. Edgar Allan Poe, Cleopatra. I believe this is Cleopatra's sister. I'm almost sure. I'm almost sure. Let me see. Some of the names get me confused, you guys. Yep. I get confused, but not a lot. So what I'll do, I'll bookmark this. I get kind of shy when people want to test me on names and everything, but I can pass old nasty tests. But this is a close goodbye. This is some history talking about Cleopatra's sister. Okay. All right. Enjoy your research. It's, oh, are you looking at that? No, you're not. So what I did is I clicked on that picture. I'll stop sharing it. Okay. And I'll come back and show you that, yes, indeedy do. They talk about Cleopatra's treacherous sister. Mm-hmm. And let me make sure I bookmarked it. I'm almost sure I did. Yes, I did. There we go. And her name is spelled, let me go to the top. Oh, they didn't put it in there. Oh, yeah, it is in the Arsinoe. Arsinoe. I'm sure I pronounced it incorrectly. It doesn't matter. Okay. Because the people who have that dialect, it makes it sound so beautiful. Just like people pronounce Hercules in the English dialect, it's pronounced Hercules, I believe. And it sounds better when someone from that region says it. It just hits better. You know what I mean? So what is next? Yeah. Again, I'm just sharing links. Oh, what am I doing? Hit the right button. And this is important for you to do your homework. Crew, staff, writers, teachers, creatives, designers, costumers, you still have to do this same research. Because when we hit this topic or I make a request, I'll say, can you make a dress that the Bernice wore in 230 BC? Then you'll be able to click these videos and find the research that you need to look it up. Okay, it's that easy. So, okay, let's go to Nigerian queens. All right, let me make sure. Here we go. Did I hit Egyptian queens? I know we did. Yeah, I hit that already, didn't I? So we'll delete that. Now, what's the next thing? Share. And then we'll talk about the images. Nigerian queens. Okay. Because these issues are issues of history and herstory, and they're current. That says we're in flux, we're in flow, we're still talking about it. It still matters. They still exist. We talked about biblical queens, and they're queens that are still alive today. But you can also put in Nigerian queens, and this is what you'll find. Now, Amina was that Muslim warrior queen of the city Zazzau. See, that's the part I don't like. But it's in Nigeria. So Amina, the warrior queen in Nigeria back then, mid 16th century, her real biography has been somewhat obscure, but you can find it. She existed and she was real. Okay. Now there are also current royalty kings and queens, but we're not going to touch into all of that. You know, they're the head of state. Because it seems to me that a lot of people get mad when you call people kings and queens, but it is what the people desire. Now here it says, who was the most powerful African queen? And here is a list. Makeda is in the top 3. That's good enough for me. Okay. So, and then here they talk about the 10 most powerful queens. Just good stuff. It's real. It matters. It was back then. It is now. And it can be a sort of a nickname and or a title given to make you feel worth. That you are worthy. That you have someone to fashion yourself after or like. Right? What does Zuri mean? Here we go. In Africa, Swahili, you know, it means beautiful. So Z-U-R-I means lovely or beautiful or good in Swahili. So you are Zuri. Okay, so am I. All right, let me close my eyes. And let me go to the images. And then we're going to go to news. Okay, and you see all beautiful things. There are actual queens. King and queen has nothing to do with how you look. It's who you are and how you carry yourself. Has nothing to do with fashion shows, being desired. Has to do with bloodline, culture, community, and pride, and dominion, meaning where you reside. So there is a beautiful king, and then we had a picture here. I'll put her back up. A beautiful queen. Okay, so you scroll back down. Here you are. Looks like the Queen of England has welcomed a king and queen from Nigeria. And they are getting back into their culture and heritage, you guys. And they're tracing back and they're finding who's who. And I'm here for it. So this is a great place to stop on here. Related searches, traditional Nigerian queen, African queen, Nigerian queen art. So that is an actual picture. You see the Queen of England honoring and giving a gift to the king and queen, and or they might just be a president and or nobility. It doesn't matter to me. I like the imagery, and I like that if it matters to her, right, it matters to Gigi. And it should matter to you as well. That's a gorgeous picture. You know, I took a snapshot of it. Shh, don't tell anybody. Let's go to the news. Now, you might have to hunt and peck. But yeah, here's something. What history tells us about the royals and race. I'll go ahead and click on that. If it doesn't let me. Okay, good. It stayed on that. Didn't it stay on that? Oh, of course it asked a question. Go away. No. I have to make it big on mine to hit it to go away. I don't want a free trial. Okay, well, guess what? You don't get free stuff on our channel if you don't let me in. So we're just looking at the history. Interesting, right? Interesting. So I don't see anything here, and that's okay. It's how you do your history. Interesting. So we could also do 10 black screen queens. Interesting. Nothing, huh? That's okay. So this is what I'll do. I'll pull it back up. Nigerian history. Nigerian queen history. Okay. Interesting, huh? I'm just looking. We're looking together. Now I know. Find Nigerian queen history. Interesting. You see what I mean as far as, oh, they didn't like that, right? Is Hollywood ready to stop stereotyping Africa? Interesting. You see what I mean? That's how you have to dig deep. All this good stuff I've been sharing, there's not one latest article regarding it. You know what I mean? Oh, here we go. Let's read this. That looks interesting, right? And you have to have patience and focus. So here they're talking about Africa's history by reflecting on 4 massive political and cultural festivals. Oh, that sounds good. Digging into Pan-Africa cultural memory. Mozambique. Okay. Now they're talking about a festival in Algiers, as you can see here. Still African people. It's in the continent, right? And they're talking about a festival. And they say digging into memory through 54 interviews. PanaFest brings together scholars, activists, musicians, photographers, filmmakers, whoop, whoop, all those other people to take part in 4 festivals. Oh, that sounds good. Doesn't that sound good? I wonder if it's still going on today. I'm sure it is. Oh, look. The project research ran parallel to another book published in 2019. Interesting. And you know me, it's less politics and propaganda for me, but you can find little nuggets by digging. And it's about arts and culture. Nice. You have to dig through the fluff and the funk and the foolery sometimes, and you have to focus. All right. Ooh, this gets a old nasty bookmark. Look at that. Ooh, yes. Okay. You know what's going to happen. Okay. And then I'll bookmark it. All right. Add that to production. Now, see, that was fun. That's Research 101. Now, what is the next thing I want to share? This is the hard work. This is the work you need people to focus on when you're working on something important. You need people to be willing to put in exactly what you put in, not copycatters or piggybackers. I need to sit everybody down in the room that's hanging with me, and we take the same test and get around about the same results. You know what I'm saying? I know you do. So what did Egyptian queens hold in their hands? Now, I tried this under other names and things, and it wasn't working for me. But it got me to the point. Now, shout out to Vlogmas. I talked about crooks and flails and all of that. We're not going to talk about that. We're going to talk about something else. Okay? And then I'll show those pictures that I shared before. Let's see. Here it talks about, and as you can see, I put it in, what did Egyptian queens hold in their hands? The crook, the heka, and the flail, the neck ha. I pronounce it the neck hak ha, as in almost, it's almost khaki, nekaka, but it's neck Kakha, that's how I pronounce it, were symbols used in ancient Egyptian society. They were originally the attributes of the deity Osiris that became the signia of pharaonic authority or Bernice authority. The shepherd's crook stood for kingship and the flail for the fertility of the land. So it's man and woman. And people honored the shepherd. Okay. And if a man was not in charge and a woman was in charge, she had the same insignia. Same thing. We're both humans, but we're of different sexes. So you should have both, meaning they are equal and they mean the same. So a shout out to Vlogmas. I already did a video on that. But guess what we're going to talk about? And we also talked about how important it was as a ruler to have the same symbols of the people and the farmers and the traders and the doers and the fishers and the crafters. In order for them, they wanted you to adopt what they held holy. Right? And that mattered. It still matters to this day. Okay? It's sort of like a nod of respect. In Egyptian society, pharaohs were the representation of the gods on earth, or the bernice. The god was often depicted holding a small crooked flail in his hand, meaning that was him giving you your props. He identified with you. Okay? The different villages in the lands that he, quoted fingers in the air, ruled over or took care of, because the kings and the queens owned the armies. They fed and owned the army. So, of course, we're all in this together. It's three together. The king, queen, the military, and the people. Okay? And they all worked as one, and they protected each other and took care of each other. That is the ultimate goal. I mean, we're not perfect, but you know what I'm saying. So, yeah. Let's see. Okay. What is the staff that Anubis holds? It's a scepter. Now, you've heard that, a scepter, right? A king and a queen, they hold a scepter in the hand. It's the same thing. It's just whatever shape or imagery or, let's say, message they're trying to send. Education was not a big thing for the whole mass of people to be focused and involved in, but I'm glad it is in modern times. Just imagine, you guys, if education, no one cared. No one would be going to school. It would be probably lots of farming and crafters and things like that, no requirements. But we made rules against child labor and things, so you have to send a child to school. But back then, they couldn't read. They could see. And if the king is holding that hook in his hand and you're a shepherd or a farmer, you immediately identified with him. And you said, okay, he's a good person. I'll share some of my crop with him. If somebody picks on me, I can ask his army to go pick on that person or beat up that person that's picking on me. It worked hand in hand, symbiotic, right? It appears as a stylized animal head at the top of a long, straight staff with a forked end. This is why I always say Africans and lions rule together. They're from the same land. Lions roam on the continent of Africa. Now, if you see a lion in somebody's flag, it's Iceland. Well, that's African symbolism. Iconography. It's ours. Right? Now, sometimes scepters were used as symbols of power and things like that. But no, it was to connect, to identify with the land where you reside or have dominion on. Only nature, God, the planet, entity, DNA, and cells give you that. If you're born in the U.S., you're an American. If you're born in Nigerian, you're Nigerian. It is what you that is your dominion. That's where that's the environment where you hail from. It is what it is. The culture. Doesn't matter what skin color you are. Doesn't matter where your parents are from. All of that doesn't matter. If you were born here in the modern world today, that's probably where you'll get your birth certificate from. Right? So here they talk more about, the pharaoh and the scepter and which animal they choose. Each pharaoh was different. Sometimes they changed things up. So let me pull this up. Let's look at images. Now you've seen this a zillion times. You know what the flail is. You know what the hook is. I mean, it's that part we know. That's why I said there is no way we will be saying that over and over again. I'm just revisiting it and making sure that you got it good. Okay. Oh, nasty game of chess. All right. What is a good one? Let's leave it here. Beautiful. Okay, you know what I'm going to do. Okay. All right, so let's look in the news. Let me make sure, Let me make sure. Where is it? Yep, I got it. Now, let's look in the news. Let's go here. Some of it is current. Some of it has absolutely nothing to do with what we're talking about. But it's interesting, you guys, to visit this and do it this way because it's what we're researching right now. Egypt, 100 years of emancipation. Egypt's last pharaoh was the love child of Caesar and Cleopatra. Oh, nasty alarm. That's weird. Okay. Interesting. This is how you find what's happening now regarding the subject you're researching. Why ancient Hebrews something. Oh, let's look at this. I'm curious. I just hope it keeps me on the same one. The other one popped me off, right? Why ancient Hebrews made figurines of naked women. Oh, okay. Holding up their breasts, apparently a must-have item. But were there images of Yahweh's wife, fertility figures, or something else? You know me, I got to get down to the get down. Of course, somebody wants you to pay. I'm not paying. But this is interesting. Israel's mini Pompeii. Were Hebrews ever slaves in Egypt? Here it says yes. Bronze Age miners in the Alps. Archaeologists find prehistoric communities lost to sea level rise in Denmark and Florida. Nice, right? So let's go back. Here they talk about a tomb. Let's see. Just making sure you can see the same thing. Yeah, you can see it. Okay, let me pull it up. And yeah, people steal. Isn't that interesting how people they don't care? They say they care. They say they worship, but they don't. They lie. Yeah, you're going to close. Did you see how the X went away? Crazy, right? Look, it did it again. Whatever. It won't allow me to close it. Right? So isn't a one-of-a-kind discovery hidden behind a false wall in a looted tomb? They found a treasure trove. Wow. Good for them. So you can put it in a museum. There's a mummy. Good for them. Yeah. It's a lot of foolery, right? High priests. Nice. I love archaeology. I never wanted to study it. I just like following it, reading about it, watching it, I mean, I could never do this, dig, search, but I do celebrate them And it's cool. Okay, so now that's the oh girl. Oh. Okay. It's always something. Eat, Celine. Okay. What's next on my list? So I think that's it. We did Egyptian queens, Nigerian queens, Egyptian queens called bernice. What did they hold in their hands? Now, something interesting. Right? That was scary. Oh, okay. I haven't done those yet. Okay. This is the part. What? Wait a minute, you guys. Okay, this is the part where I have to start adding. All right. So let me go to all. Now, this didn't give me the pronunciation. Do you see that up there? Let's just call it NZ. So I'm going to get rid of that. And let me make sure. This is the part I have to make sure that's on my list. It is. NZ na ozo. So I know it sounds kind of funny. It's okay to giggle and laugh. I don't care. NZ na ozo. We'll get rid of the list. Okay. To become ozo implies that the title holder is now an NZ, implying living. The NZ Na Ozo Society, pronounced that, is the highest and most important magical, religious, and social growing in the Igbo society of Southeast Nigeria. That's a mouthful. I know what it means. You get to know what it means now. Okay? This is important because this same heritage, this same culture, this same thing still applies today as it did back during the era of the BERNICEs and the Nubian BERNICEs. It still happens to this day. Doesn't matter if people aren't speaking on it. I'm glad it's documented here. Shout out to digital knowledge. Okay? Now here, we're going to hit a couple of webbies and all that good stuff. But here, it says what it is. And you have to take your time and find out exactly the words you need that matter to the subject you're discussing. NZ na ozu, or ozo. I like ozu. Is the highest and most important spiritual, religious, and social grouping in the Igbo society. Did you hear that? The highest and most important religious and social grouping in that particular Nigerian society. They existed then and before then, and they still exist now, and they still will in the future. Now, if this is your first time holding or hearing about this, that's fine. I'm glad I'm able to share it with you. Now, again, it says it here again. To become Ozu implies that the title holder is in law and authority in a Nigerian tribe. It's tribal. And I'm glad it still exists. I'm glad it wasn't stamped out or canceled. Colonialism, I hope I said it correctly, is dead. We need to work together. You ain't nobody in charge of nobody else. We're working together. I was here first. You're going to include me on everything. Sharing of wealth, work, and whatever we gain from it. And I'm glad we're here. I am. And it will get better. It has gotten better. I think people just need to get out of what they think or their ignorance. When you learn something new, you have to kill your own ignorance. It's that easy. So why is this important? Well, let's go back and look at some images. Okay. Now you can go on YouTube. You can hit any of this good stuff. It's about what they're holding in their hand. Remember we talked about the staff? Whatever its name, we don't care. Whatever it's on the top, we don't care. It's that staff is what they hold in their hand. It's the authority. It's what people believe. It's their culture. Is what they've kept alive. It's what they're regained. Sometimes something was dropped off. They regain it back. Okay, we're all good. We're not going to sit. I think sometimes other cultures who want to kill your culture revel in the fact that you can't get over it. Well, we're over it here in class culture. We're for this. Shout out to costumes, culture, history, herstory, kingdoms, and queendoms. We got this. And we need to include other cultures to stay stronger. Shout out to costumes and our ancient DNA, our beautiful brown and ebony faces, and our beautiful nostrils and eyes and everything, skin. Shout out to our elders. Shout out to the baby that was just born at this moment in time on the continent. I say dress your best in your culture. If you want to wear traditional for the rest of your life, go for it. I'm thinking about it. I'm thinking about it. Don't mess with me. Okay. And here's a beautiful altar of long ago. And let me see. Yeah, same thing. Here they're talking about it. And it's right there in the middle. Okay. Here's one. The staff. It might be long enough, and it might work as a cane as well. Whatever you want to do with it is yours. Some people just hold them. Don't make me. I'm thinking about it. Now let's see what's in the news. Okay. So this was May 12th, 2020. Because it depends on if you're a writer and you want to write about things that haven't been written about in a while, this is another way to look it up. Go away. Here, let me make it bigger. Say, oh, somebody hasn't written about this in a year. I'm going to do it, right? Go away. Good grief. Stop. Go away. I want to see something interesting. I don't want to see that. So here in this news was May a year ago. The community announced the passing of this gentleman. Okay, the matriarch had died in April, and then looks like he died in May. People attended. There was a gathering. Informed the royal father, who recently did something, gave something to all the widows. Nice. So you can still find out what's going on in these communities. You just have to pay attention. Give them 10 minutes of your time every day to be woke and to honor the motherland. Okay. Right? Interesting. So may he rest in peace, right? But let's go back to the pictures, because, yeah. Or let's go back to some other news. Let me see if I can. Oh, see? Great article to write on. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Look like some drama. Okay. Aqua, the ancient Ibu city, whose blacksmiths produced local weapons for that during the medieval times, is boiling. God, I gotta ignore that stuff. It drives me nuts. That's cool, right? So when people came to visit these beautiful lands and cultures and kingdoms and queendoms, people were busy doing things better than they were. That's why they wanted to employ them. That's why they wanted to enslave them and say, okay, I took you from here. I want you to build that. And they were probably a fisherman and said, I don't know nothing about that. So they made them do something else. They were, instead of sharing and employing them and paying them, they tried to steal let's just say the mastery of their peoples. And they couldn't, because they couldn't get to the people. Or even if they did know, they didn't tell them because they were wrong. Thank you. Okay. So let me see. For no other reason that the kingmakers, including the NZ Naozo title holders, are insisting that their traditional ruler, His Royal Majesty, must vacate his throne for allegedly supporting spouses of dead couples to perform the from dust to dust ritual for the deceased. Woo, child, there's some fighting going on. Okay. I'm going to have to put, that's an old nasty production. I'm going to revisit that. They fight. It was probably somebody trying to get some clout and didn't know how to do it correctly. Because think about it, you guys, they got paid in certain ways and fashion, or they earned certain treasures and, you know, accolades. And I'm going to have to close this because now the ads are getting stupid. It's ridiculous. But did you see my point? The things that were happening then are still happening now. The purpose for kings and queens, heads of state, politicians, let's just say people of power are required in order to have civil society, in order to sleep quietly at night, or having a lock and a key to have your things, to live the life you want to lead. It still happens today. We are direct connection. I'm here. I'm proud. I honor every DNA, every cell in my body, because somebody maybe back when didn't have the same luxuries as I do. I am their dream, and I'm going to live it today. I'm not going to sit around wasting it thinking about something that ain't happening during my lifetime. I'm just going to honor me and my vessel and keep it together. Okay, and that's enough for me. I don't know about nobody else, but that's enough for me. So let me make sure that's on my list. If it's not, I will put it there. Yes, I did. Okay, so the next thing is 3 Webbies, and that's it, because the other subjects we're going to touch on in another video. Okay. Now, before I go to the websites, let's go back to those pictures. Now, what have we spoken about? We've spoken about Queen Sheba, so we love her, right? We spoke about the Nubian queens, right? And we spoke about the Egyptians, right? The flail, and the crook, or the hook, or the staff. The staff is the stick itself. It's what they put on it and how they adorn it, and for what its purpose is and its meaning. You could go on and on that. You could spend a whole year discussing that. So now you know its purpose and why it's important to have it. You know, art is important. Okay? Now, altars and whoever deity and or entity and or what God you choose to worship is on you. And here in America, you see the crook and the flail. It's open. Nobody will beat you up if you want to be a Wicca. No one will beat you up if you're Jewish. No one will beat you up if you're Catholic. No one will beat you up if you're Taoist, like Gigi. No one will beat you up if you say, I don't believe in anything but spirituality. No one will beat you up if you say, I don't believe in anything but I like angels. It's, you get to choose whatever you want. Okay. And that's the end of that one. Now, let's go to see what I'm supposed to be sharing. Now, I have a lot of windows, you guys. Open up. I just want to make sure I hit the right one before we go on to the next subject. So, we got that. So, Ancient Egypt Online, Queens of Egypt. Okay. Yes, that's a great Webby. Okay, here we go. yeah, I think I have covered everything I want to cover. I want to cover on this subject, but, and congratulations to us. You know, we aced this topic, but going forward, I'll delve into certain one things, and that's for the future. So thanks for being here on this journey. This is a great website. It's down below, and it talks about in ancient Egypt times, men had most of the power, and even though it was part of the royal wife's duty to produce as many heirs as possible, sometimes she achieved co-regency, co-power, and ruled the land. She sure did. And here, this is a great website because look at all the good things you can find out. So I, Gigi, will still use this video for research. Okay? Nice, right? I'm just looking at the beautiful sculptures. Thank goodness things like that still exist. It's proof. It's receipts, as we like to say. All right. So let me go down. Nice, right? Love it. Oh, they talk about her attire. Let's get into it. She wore linen. She wore a skirt and a cape. Beads. And nets around her neck. NETS. That was usually a part of the dress, or a collar as we call it. Shoes and belts. Robes. They had sleeves. Now, these things were important, you guys, because everyone couldn't afford that, right? Perfect. And we'll talk more about that. Oh, that's a beautiful picture to end on. I'm going to put that one in production too. Okay. So that was the first website. Let me get the next one. Okay, yeah, I see it. Perfect. Now here, because when I do a project, you guys, I want it to be different than what everyone else is doing. So we're going to find things that are going to help Gigi do that, right? We're going to find something that you can recognize, but also something that's different that you've never seen before, or stylize it where it's just ours, right? Let me make sure you can see that. So we definitely aced this. Let me see. Let me get that up there. Okay. Yes, we definitely did. Okay. So this website is BibleGateway.com. Okay. Now, every culture has a reason for how they want to interpret things, right? That's what they can do. Now, here, they say, isn't it funny how they say this? And then they come down and says it means victorious. You know, it's very strange. So I'm going to stay here. Okay. Now they also give scripture. Enjoy. Okay. Here they talk about they feel it's a Macedonian take on the word bernice, but it's bernice, and then the Greeks name it bernica. You know, it's so many different ways. Bernice is bernice. Okay. And it also means victorious and carrying off victory. Okay. They inform us the name occurs in previous history being given to the wife of a pharaoh and one of Alexander's generals, who became the king of Egypt, a pharaoh. So it all ties in. Interesting, right? So let me see. What else did I want to say that's in here? You know me, I pick them out. Okay. Let me go down here. They talk about family connections, you know, and it is in the Bible. So my mother had a biblical name, and it is also, like I said, you can use the Bible and you can just believe in dirt and get good information out of it, because it talks about geography, stories, riddles, rhymes, songs, morality tales. It has everything in it. So you don't have to get all hoodoo and weirded out by reading it, by studying it. You don't have to believe in Jesus if you don't want to, or you don't have to be a Muslim or a Christian to read the Bible. It's a book. That's it. You get to choose what you want to choose regarding it. Now here it talks about Josephus writes, you know, about it a lot. Bernice was also a daughter. Herod named one of his daughters Bernice. So it's a lot of good stuff. You know, something about another lady named Bernice was married to a Marcus. All this good stuff. This is good, interesting history and herstory. Right? And you don't have to take it for face value. Just look at it, listen to it, use it. This is a source. And you can be nonfiction or fiction about it. You don't have to be all tied up in a knot trying to figure out what you want to say and what you don't want to say. It's whatever you want to do. Life is not that hard. It ain't. So, okay, let me find the last one, because I want to get the correct. Let me see. Because I got a lot of open, you guys, and I want to make sure I hit the right thing. Okay, yes, here we go. Now, I've been saying Igbo a lot, right? Yeah, because I don't want to spoil the next show. I don't want to hit the wrong thing. Let me make sure. Okay, yeah. All right, I just want to make sure I hit the right one. So share. But yeah, I think I've belabored the issue regarding the kings and the queens on the African continent. But now we're delving in, see? Igbo history, right? We're delving in. The origin of the Igbo, the chosen people of the true God, and the never been ruled, tracing Igbo divine rights through prehistory, forgotten scriptures, and oral tradition. Okay, the old nasty bookmark. There it is. Now we saw this picture before. That looks like a ziggurat pyramid to me. So here you can hit any of these subjects, sorry, and enjoy yourself. I'll continue to do it, and I'll come back and visit this. But look at some of these titles: the sacred symbol of the God-man, logos, the seed of Seth, the origin of the smith, the serpent and the spiral representing the wisdom of the mother goddess, are the living incarnations of the serpentine wisdom. Democracy, the mark of the godmen, the children of the goddess, the missing link, Igwili, people of the sea, Atlantis. But anyway, it's a lot going on over and around here. So I'm going to hit this one. The kingless generation, the world's oldest and only indigenous democracy. And this will be the last of it. Okay, here. Now this is a shout out to this website. I have no affiliation. I'm glad it's there. It's down below. I love that I found you. It gave me my whole life. So get your reading on. I love all this stuff. Okay. I'm trying to find where I want to start because there's a lot going on. Here, we'll read this part, and that'll be the end of this. And you'll do the rest of your research, and we'll talk about this sometime in the future. Man's attainment of divinity, we believe, is the fundamental teaching of Christianity and Jesus Christ, namely that God has become man. The man must see God in himself or herself. Thank you for writing that. The man must regain perfection in whatever that is. Okay. Wisdom, I think it's what you choose it to be. If you, like today is almost the end of today, I had a perfect day for me. You know what I mean? Wisdom and morality through the transformation of the self. We transform each and every day with the Igbo call which that's what they meant, which the Igbo call initiation. In fact, the Chi theology, how many times you guys hear me talk about Chi, is ample proof that the Igbo see themselves as a nation of gods and goddesses, equivalent to what the Hindu refer to as that. I'm not saying that. Both the Hindu and the Igbo believe in the God man / woman, an idea that found expression through the Egyptian pharaohs and bernices and other so-called divine kings of the world. The Egyptians actually believed that the dead pharaoh or bernice must get into the Panchean duet to be united with the gods of West Africa. Thank you so much for joining me today. We will definitely touch on that subject more in the future. I enjoy, I feel so fulfilled sometimes, you guys. I just lay my head down and I get the universe blesses me with another good night's rest. I am going to smell in some lavender, listen to some good Zen music, and I'll join you next time here in Class Culture. Thank you so much. It's an excellent topic. I hope you enjoyed it. I appreciate you so much. Hit all the reminder buttons in the upcoming shows. If you're new here, please subscribe. Join, like, and share. We are on fire, and we have fun, and we're in flux, and I appreciate you, boo. I see growth. I see culture. I see purpose, and I see focus. I appreciate you so much. Have a good night. Bye.